Okay, let's unpack this. We're taking a deep dive into something that's uh, quietly revolutionizing healthcare administration around the globe. Practice management systems. These aren't maybe the flashy apps you think of first, the patient-facing ones, but they're really the powerful engine humming away in the background. They make so much of your healthcare experience smoother, and, well, they're seeing some explosive growth worldwide.
Yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it? These systems are, they're essentially the backbone of modern healthcare now. They really
Right.
streamline everything. I mean, from how you book an appointment to how a clinic handles its finances or manages inventory for critical supplies, even how patient records are kept secure. They're really at the heart of efficiency.
Yeah.
And it's all driven by this huge push for digital transformation in healthcare and, frankly, the need for better admin processes that go way beyond paper.
Exactly. So if you're someone who likes to understand the big picture,
Yeah.
especially, where tech meets essential services like healthcare, you'll want to hear these numbers. Our mission today is really to explore these incredible growth projections using data from cognitive market research. And we want to uncover what these figures actually tell us about where healthcare is heading. It's kind of a shortcut to getting informed on a really critical, fast-moving sector.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. Let's start with the big global picture for this practice management system market. Just to give you a sense of the scale, right? In 2021, this market was already worth over $10 billion. But
10 billion, yeah.
that's just the starting point. It's projected to jump to almost 15 billion by 2025
Hmm.
and then really explode, hitting over $30 billion by 2033.
Wow.
I mean, we're talking about a market that's forecast to nearly triple in size in just over a decade. It's pretty remarkable. And that consistent growth rate, the compound annual growth rate, or CAGR, it's 9.388%. Now, that isn't just some random number. It's a really powerful indicator. It smooths out the bumps and shows the steady underlying momentum. It tells us this isn't just, a flash in the pan. It signals a really fundamental, sustained shift towards digital-first operations in healthcare. It acknowledges that these systems, well, they aren't a luxury anymore. They're becoming a necessity for modern clinics, hospitals, everyone. It's a foundational change, really driven by the clear advantages in efficiency and data management.
Yearly tripling.
Yeah.
That 9.388% CAGR really underlines it. So beyond just efficiency, what's
Mhm.
the biggest driver you see for that kind of exponential growth? What are these systems doing now that maybe wasn't feasible before?
That's a great question, because it is moving beyond just basic admin now. When we talk digital transformation, we mean everything from patients booking online, getting automated reminders. That's become pretty standard. But also clinics using quite sophisticated analytics, maybe to predict patient flow or optimize how they use their beds with AI, or even tracking and ordering supplies precisely to cut waste. And these systems, they're also the backbone for scaling up things like telemedicine, right?
Medicine.
Yeah, and integrating with electronic health records and even making patient engagement better through secure portals. That's where the real value add is coming from, and that's what's fueling this kind of sustained high growth.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So we get the global momentum, incredible growth. But what does this look like when we sort of zoom in on different parts of the world? Let's maybe crisscross the globe a bit. Where's this digital revolution really taking hold? Where's the pulse strongest? Maybe start with North America. They often lead in tech adoption.
Yeah, absolutely. North America is currently the dominant player. No surprise there, maybe. It generated nearly $5 billion back in 2021.
Almost half the global market then.
Pretty much. And it's projected to also almost triple, reaching nearly $14 billion by 2033. So it shows a mature market, definitely, but one that's still expanding really rapidly, driven by, established digital infrastructure and a strong push to integrate tech into healthcare.
And drilling down further, the U.S. is the giant within North America, right? Takes the lion's share.
Absolutely, by a wide margin.
So the U.S. market alone was, what, around $4 billion in 2021?
Roughly, yes. And it's projected to follow that same trend, almost tripling to over $11 billion by 2033.
Wow. And Canada and Mexico also growing strongly.
Definitely significant contributors, both showing really robust growth, projected to more than triple their market sizes over that same period, 2021 to 2033. Canada hitting about 1.6 billion, Mexico just over a billion by then.
Okay, so North America is big and getting bigger. Now let's shift gears. What about Asia Pacific? You mentioned high growth there earlier.
Yes, Asia Pacific. This is really a region to watch. It's definitely a high growth engine here. It boasts a strong CAGR, even higher than the global average, at 10.486%.
Over 10%. Okay.
Yeah, so its market was over 2.2 billion in 2021, and it's projected to more than triple, hitting over 7.4 billion by 2033. And that growth, it's fueled by a few things: expanding healthcare access for huge populations, rapid digital adoption, and quite significant government investment in modernizing healthcare infrastructure across the region.
And I see China is really leading the charge there. From about 600 million in 2021,
Right.
projected to jump over 2 billion by 2033.
Yeah.
That's a phenomenal trajectory.
It really is. And India is another powerhouse. It's emerging as one of the fastest growing countries globally in this specific space. India has an impressive TGR of 11.393%.
Wow, even higher.
Exactly. Its market was just over 300 million back in 2021, but it's forecasted to rocket past 1.1 billion by 2033. And beyond those two, we also see really strong growth across Japan, South Korea, Australia, and also the rapidly digitizing nations of Southeast Asia. That Southeast Asia group, collectively, they're projected to more than triple their market size by 2033 as well, from about 184 million to over 640 million.
Okay, so Asia Pacific is definitely the high growth story. What about Europe? How does it compare?
Europe is interesting. It's more of a steady expansion story, perhaps.
Okay.
It started strong, valued at nearly $2 billion in 2021.
Right.
And it's expected to more than double, reaching over 5.3 billion by 2033.
So solid growth, but maybe not quite the explosive rate of Asia Pacific.
Exactly. Europe represents sort of a blend of very established healthcare systems, but also ongoing digital transformation efforts. Leading the way, there are countries like Germany, the UK, France.
Usual suspects, maybe.
Pretty much. Germany's market, for instance, is projected to nearly triple, hitting over 1.1 billion by 2033. The UK and France are projected to more than double their markets. Italy and Spain also show similar robust growth, both expected to well over double.
Okay.
So these figures, they reflect a really widespread commitment to digital healthcare, but it's happening within very diverse national healthcare structures, which maybe affects the overall pace compared to, say, Asia Pacific's rapid build-out.
That makes sense. Different starting points, different systems. Okay, let's turn now to what we might call the emerging frontiers. South America, the Middle East, and Africa. Still significant growth happening there too, right?
Oh, absolutely. These are really important areas for future growth. You see significant investment happening, expanding healthcare access. It's driving demand.
So South America first.
Right. South America's market is poised for really explosive growth, actually. It's forecasted to jump from just over $500 million in 2021
Yeah.
to nearly 1.7 billion by 2033. So that's roughly a threefold increase overall.
Wow, tripling there too. Who's leading?
Brazil leads the continent, yes. Its market is set to triple in size, hitting over 600 million. And Argentina is also showing extremely strong growth, projected to more than triple its market by 2033 as well.
Okay. And the Middle East. Similar story of strong growth.
Very similar, substantial expansion plan. It's on track to more than triple from around 460 million in 2021 to nearly 1.4 billion by 2033.
Which countries stand out there?
Well, Saudi Arabia is a key player. Its market is projected to more than triple, reaching almost 400 million. And the UAE is particularly notable. It has a really strong CAGR, 10.329%, almost matching Asia Pacific's average.
Interesting.
Yeah, so the UAE is poised to more than triple its market size by 2033. These regions are just investing very heavily in modernizing their healthcare infrastructure, which naturally leads to rapid PMS adoption.
And finally, Africa. Often seen as having huge potential.
Definitely. Africa is another region where the market is set to almost triple overall. It saw revenue of just over 300 million in 2021. That's expected to reach nearly $1 billion, 972 million by 2033.
And within Africa.
South Africa leads the continent. Its market is projected to more than triple, hitting nearly 400 million. And Nigeria follows, also on track for really rapid growth. Its market is projected to more than triple by 2033 as well. This growth, it really reflects increasing healthcare needs across the continent, but also that drive for efficiency that we see everywhere.
It's really striking, isn't it, when you lay it all out? It's clear that while some regions like North America and maybe parts of Europe are these massive, more mature markets,
Right.
others like Asia Pacific, South America, Africa, they're experiencing truly explosive growth. It can paint such a fascinating picture of global digital health adoption. And just the different stages of technology integration worldwide, it feels really dynamic.
Absolutely dynamic. And if we, connect this back to the bigger picture, it tells us loud and clear that this digital transformation of healthcare, it isn't just happening in a few places. It's a global imperative now. The differences we see in growth rates, they often just reflect where countries are on that journey towards full digital integration. It depends on their level of investment in healthcare infrastructure, but also that universal need for efficiency is hitting everywhere. And what's really crucial here, I think, is that this isn't just about digitizing the old processes. It's more fundamental. It's about fundamentally rethinking how healthcare is delivered, how it's managed, and ultimately how it's experienced by patients.
So let's bring it back. What does all this mean for you, the listener? And whether you're a patient trying to navigate your own health journey, or maybe you work in the healthcare space, or perhaps you're just fascinated by how tech reshapes whole industries. These numbers, this trend, it reflects a massive shift towards more streamlined, hopefully more effective healthcare systems worldwide.
Yeah, it impacts everyone.
It really does.
Yeah.
It's about more than just software sales figures, right? It's about hopefully getting smoother appointments because the systems can actually talk to each other. It's about faster, more accurate billing, less hassle there.
Hopefully.
And ultimately, it's about having better quality data available, which can lead to improved patient care, maybe more tailored treatments down the line. And economically, of course, it represents huge opportunities for job creation, for investment, for innovation right across the globe.
Big economic impact, too.
So just to sum it all up then, the global practice management system market is, well, it's clearly on an undeniable upward path. It's being driven by this global need for deep digital transformation and much better administrative efficiency in healthcare. We're talking about a multi-billion-dollar market that's set to nearly triple in the next decade or so, with really strong, sometimes explosive growth across every single continent. It really feels like a foundational shift in how healthcare operates.
It absolutely is. And maybe, a final thought to leave people with. This raises a really important question for all of us, I think. As our healthcare systems become increasingly digital, increasingly interconnected through systems exactly like these, how might our own relationship with our health data change? And indeed, how might our relationship with healthcare itself fundamentally shift in the coming decade? And maybe what new responsibilities might come up for us as individuals and for providers in this much more digital health landscape? Something to think about.
Welcome to the Deep Dive, your shortcut to, well, really understanding what's going on. Today, we're diving into something pretty huge in healthcare tech, the practice management system market, or PMS. It's all about the digital shift happening in clinics and hospitals right now. We're going to peel back the layers on that. So our mission today, pretty straightforward, pull out the key insights on what's driving this PMS market, what challenges it's facing, and maybe the most interesting part, the new trends shaping its future. Everything we're discussing comes straight from a really solid source, the Evolving Practice Management System Market by Cognitive Market Research. So why should you care? Well, if you're in healthcare, administration, or even just fascinated by health tech, understanding this stuff is pretty crucial for seeing where healthcare is headed. Okay, let's unpack this then. What's really fundamentally fueling the incredible growth we're seeing in the PMS market?
Yeah, it's quite something. A huge driver, maybe the biggest, is this increasing demand for just more efficient administrative operations. Think about it. PMS platforms, they automate all that critical stuff, scheduling appointments, managing patient records, the billing, insurance claims. It basically gets rid of mountains of paperwork, reduces those manual errors. And that means healthcare professionals can actually focus on, quality patient care, not admin headaches. It tackles burnout, too, which is a big deal.
That sounds incredibly powerful just for like the day-to-day running of things.
Yeah.
But it feels like it's bigger than just internal efficiency now, right? How does this connect with other big healthcare tech systems? Everything seems linked.
Exactly. That's the other major piece.
Right.
The integration with electronic health records, EHRs. When you connect PMS and EHR, suddenly providers have real-time access to the complete patient history. That's massive for accuracy and diagnosis treatment plans. Plus, it cuts out having to enter the same data over and over in different systems. It really builds a more connected, sort of cohesive healthcare picture. Practitioners get that full 360-degree view of the patient. It's invaluable, really.
Okay, so those are strong internal drivers.
Yep.
But what about outside forces? Are things like, I don't know, government policies or regulations playing a big role here?
Oh, absolutely. If you zoom out, government incentives and regulations are, well, they're massive factors. You've got things like IPAC compliance in the U.S., the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act,
Yeah.
which is all about keeping patient data private and secure.
Right. Privacy, security, super important.
And then you see national e-health strategies rolling out across Europe, Asia Pacific. Governments are actively pushing digitalization. They're offering subsidies, reimbursement programs, basically encouraging practices to adopt these secure, standardized PMS platforms. It's a clear policy push towards digital.
Okay, so lots of push towards adopting these systems.
Yeah.
But, it's never totally straightforward.
Hmm?
What are some of the main challenges, the speed bumps holding things back or causing friction?
Well, probably the first one everyone runs into is the high initial cost. It's just expensive to get started, especially for smaller clinics, independent practitioners. You've got the software licenses, maybe IT infrastructure upgrades, definitely staff training. It all adds up. And for those smaller practices, seeing the return on that investment, the ROI, it can take a while. So it makes them pretty cautious.
Cost is definitely a big hurdle. But, okay, say a clinic gets past that. Are there, deeper technical problems getting these new systems to actually play nice with everything else they already have?
Yes, absolutely. That integration challenge is really significant. Trying to merge a new PMS with older, maybe legacy systems or specialized lab software, other digital tools, it's often not seamless. Not at all. You run into technical glitches, data getting stuck in silos, separate systems that don't talk to each other. And sometimes staff resist the change too, which can slow things down or even, derail the whole implementation.
And you mentioned patient data earlier with IPA Pay. That sensitivity must be a huge ongoing concern, right? Security and privacy.
It's a massive barrier still.
Yeah.
Data privacy and security concerns are, they're a major hurdle. These PMS platforms, they handle incredibly sensitive patient information. So if there's a data breach, the consequences are severe. We're talking huge regulatory fines, big financial losses.
Well, and the damage to reputation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A massive blow to the provider's reputation. So having really robust cybersecurity isn't just like a nice to have, it's an absolute necessity. And it's a significant ongoing expense practices have to budget for.
Okay, so we had these drivers pushing things forward, these restraints holding things back. Given all that, how are these PMS platforms actually evolving? What are the really transformative trends shaping, the future of this tech?
Well, one really crucial trend is the rise of cloud-based PMS solutions. That's a big shift. They offer huge flexibility, remote access, which is key now, and usually lower upfront costs compared to the old on-premise systems you had to install and maintain yourself.
Right, so more accessible maybe.
Definitely more accessible. And they're great for healthcare providers with multiple locations. Plus, they're increasingly integrating with telehealth platforms. Perfect for the kind of hybrid care, part in-person, part virtual that we see so much of now. Vendors are also moving to subscription pricing, which helps lower that initial cost barrier we talked about.
That cloud approach really does sound like a game changer, especially for scaling up or managing remote teams. But what about the really, cutting-edge stuff? Beyond just convenience, are we seeing things like AI making a difference yet?
Oh, absolutely. This leads to something fascinating. The integration of artificial intelligence, AI, and automation. It's a huge trend. And AI isn't just, adding a few bells and whistles. It's really transforming the PMS into something like the proactive brain of the practice.
Proactive brain, how so?
Well, AI is powering tools for things like predictive analytics, really smart automated billing, intelligent scheduling. These features cut down the administrative load massively. They boost data accuracy, and they give practices insights to improve how they manage revenue and ultimately patient outcomes too. Machine learning, for instance, can even spot potential revenue leakage, like where money is slipping through the cracks before it becomes a big problem. It helps plug those financial gaps.
Wow, okay, so it's making the business side smarter. How does all this translate to the patient? Is their experience getting better?
Yeah, that's the other key focus. The industry is definitely leaning into mobile and more patient-centric interfaces. So now patients can often use mobile apps or special portals to, book their own appointments easily, view their medical records securely.
Communicate directly with their doctor.
Exactly. Communicate directly with providers. This whole trend is really about boosting patient engagement, making them more involved in their own care, which is just essential for improving satisfaction and, ultimately supporting better clinical outcomes too. It gives patients more control, more convenience.
So wrapping this up a bit, Whether you're deep in the healthcare world or just watching how tech is changing things, it's really clear that this practice management system market is, well, it's crucial. It's fast becoming the backbone of digital healthcare. It's a dynamic space, lots of innovation happening for efficiency, connectivity, accessibility. And remember, these insights we've shared today, they come directly from that detailed analysis by cognitive market research.
As these systems really do become the backbone, it raises a pretty critical question for all of us to think about. How might the actual nature of the patient-provider relationship fundamentally shift? And what sort of new ethical considerations pop up as technology starts mediating more and more of those interactions?
That's a really interesting thought to chew on as this tech keeps evolving, something to keep an eye on. Well, thanks everyone for tuning into this deep dive. We definitely encourage you to stay informed, stay connected with how this vital technology continues to shape the future of health.